log in to KofiPaisaTV.com and get Spears of the Mossy Volume 1 by Kofi Paisa Research Team, from Spears the Pen Volume 2 by Kofi Paisa Research Team, Spiritual Combat Volume 3 by Kofi Paisa Research Team, One Night Before Bed by Any Harret Sean Calfunny, Kalawa's Trip to the Motherland by Kofi Paisa, From Cocaine to Consciousness by Any Harret Sean Calfunny, As I Learned, We All Learn by Kofi Paisa. Also, if you want fresh merch, go to our online store, Family Connect Apparel, and get all the brands. Also, get our 54 deck of quiz and educational cards available now on KofiPaisaTV.com.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, the books is in. The books are in. Yep. They're in. They're here. ETM Hotel, Rennie Sean. Welcome in peace. My name is Sean. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to Science with Sean. Like the show, share the show, tell a friend, tell a friend. I'm not sharing the show at all. So I know it's Saturday, people busy, it's football season, week 0, HBCU football on ESPN game day today. That was major. That was historic. But they game at 7 tonight. It's going to be on ESPN. It's going to be good. UCLA and the Y is currently playing right now. Sloppy game. It's the beginning of the season. So football's everywhere, penalties everywhere. People got some cleaning up to do. People trying to get back to normal. Peace to Arca, Stacy, Rob, Mike, and Bonita, and to all the onlookers that'll catch the replay and those that are coming to chat. Tarka, we'll get up on the Mossy Warrior Clan and discuss what you was talking about yesterday on Garfield channel. Hopefully we might be able to get to that later this evening. Right now we want to talk about the misinformation campaign. I'm going to show y'all some stuff at the end of this, but I want to go ahead and kind of deal with question. I'm going to put this question in the chat, and I'm also going to say it for the listening audience that may not be able to type. Should doctors be reprimanded for misinformation, for misinforming people? About COVID. All right, so there's the question. I just put it in the chat. I'm gonna show it on the screen. And I'm gonna take it off the screen. And I'm gonna edit this joker. But I wasn't specific. All right, so there you go. We're gonna get into that the Hippocratic oath. We might get into it. We might get into that. But hold on 1 second for me. And let me send this 2 places. All right, that was cool. Yeah, okay. So we got a couple people who saying no. All right. This dude crazy. Literally just hate. All right, so should doctors be reprimanded for misinforming people about COVID? 1, 2. We got a couple people say yes. Still waiting on other people. See what y'all get. As a professional doctor, should you be reprimanded for misinforming people? Now, when me and Unc sat on the panel with Dr. Bonita Cole, and I forget the other 2 doctors' names, she admitted that they didn't have a lot of time because they were frontline in the fight. But they didn't have a lot of time to keep up with the latest scientific information. I can go back and I can play it for you. It's on Chill Talk, where a doctor, astute doctor, Dr. Bonita Cole, clearly, who was in the field, she clearly stated that she's aware of a lot of information, but she doesn't get a chance or had an opportunity to read all the science. So when Dr. Park said yesterday that she keeps up with the science, or she reads the science, or she's an expert in it, how, doctor? You see what I'm saying? What kind of doctor is she? She's not in the hospital. She's not in the medical field like that. She's in a lab though. If she's doing cellular microbiology, if she's dealing with cells, she's in the lab, but she's not in the field, right? Like Dr. Bonita Cole, who frontlining this, who has a biology degree, right? She's dealing with all of these things that's got to deal with people on a day-to-day basis dealing with COVID. Right. The better question, yeah, how should they not? So let's discuss it real quick. All right, so emergency medicine doctors will face consequences for spreading COVID lies. So physicians who publicly spread misinformation about COVID-19 pandemic can be sanctioned by the American Board of Emergency Medicine, ABEM, including potentially losing board certification. This comment came out on Thursday. Making public statements that are directly contrary to prevailing medicine evidence can constitute unprofessional conduct and may be subject to review by ABEM. Now, should ABEM determine that a physician is promulgating inaccurate information that is contrary to the interests of the patient and that adversely impacts public safety, ABEM may withdraw or or deny certification for that physician. Now, the warning echoes a statement that focused on COVID-19 vaccine, specifically from federal and state medical boards, issued earlier this month. Both follow reports of some physicians deliberately spreading misinformation about the pandemic, especially regarding the safety and efficacy of vaccines. None of the 20 notable physicians who have spread COVID misinformation have yet been disciplined by their state boards as of last week. About 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks after FSMBS released a statement. Now, however, as a matter of confidentiality or whatever, in most states, it is unclear if complaints have been filed or investigations have been launched. The ABN statement cited the group's Code of Professionalism, recently updated in April, which noted the ABN certification requirements of professionalism includes ethical requirement 2, refrain from conduct that the board determines is its sole judgment to be sufficiently egregious that it is inconsistent with ethical behavior by physicians. All right, wrapping this up. So, providing misleading and inaccurate information to the public can be sufficiently egregious and inconsistent with the ethical behavior of a physician who is expected to do harm. Now, conduct that is prohibited by the code shall be reviewed by the ABM board of directors and may result in decertification according to the Code of Professionalism, which also noted that ABM has an appeal process for physicians who are found to not fulfill the requirements described in the code. The organization did not immediately return requests for comment on Friday. So let's take a look at the ABM statement. It's 2 of them. This is the Code of Professionalism, and this is pretty much a summary of what you just basically saw. So we're going to go to here, the Code of Professionalism. I'm going to blow it up on the screen. I'm going to see if, let me take this down. I apologize. All right, so you should be able to see it good now. All right, yeah, cool. Okay, cool, perfect. Now, Code of Professionalism. All right, so the American Board of Emergency Medicine believes that patients are entitled to quality emergency care delivered in a professional manner. Therefore, ABEM has adopted the following Code of Professionalism. Policy. ABEM certification requires for professionalism includes an ethical requirement 2, treat patients in a safe and fair manner without explicit or implicit or explicit bias based on race, sex, gender, age, sexual orientation, disability, national origin, or religion. Demonstrate compassion, integrity, and respect for patient, family, and other members of the healthcare team in all types of interactions. Respect patient privacy and autonomy. Be accountable to patients and peers. Refrain from conduct that the board determines in its sole judgment to be sufficiently egregious that it is inconsistent with the ethical behavior by a physician. The Code of Professionalism requires the ABN certified physicians to adhere to this conduct. All right. Now, ABEM diplomats are required to report, to report any potential breach of this code, as well as any altercation in the status of state and federal medical or drug license or encumbrance on a license. So that's good. Felony conviction or federal indictment, surrender any state medical license to avoid action by a state and medical license board, any restriction of a DEA license, any exclusion from participating in Medicare, Medicaid, any sanction or disciplinary action by a medical board, any involuntary revocation of staff privileges. The ABM certified physicians who do not report will subject to review under the ABM's disciplinary action. All right, process. Now, ABM certified physicians may not, we'll read them just because it's here, but have any state medical license with an encumbrance. Each and every license held by the physician must be unencumbered, irrespective of the state in which the physician practices. So I'm pretty sure that if you move from one state to another state, this is going to follow you around. provide false, misleading, or untruthful information on the application for certification of any of the ABM requested information, inaccurately represent one certification status, use ABM certification to advise board certification credentials for clinical practice areas that are outside the scope of practice for emergency medicine as defined by the model of the clinical practice of emergency medicine. Share the content of any ABM written or examination, verbal or written reproduction of the test material and is strict prohibited. The material is copywritten, sharing information by a federal offense. All right. The code of professionalism. Can't cheat on the exam. Can't obstruct an investigation. All right. Only exception here is to maintain an appeal process. That's it. Okay. So that was, reviewed on in April, but that is the release of the document. As of right now, there's been no physicians disciplined for COVID falsehoods. None. All these articles are in the description of the video. However, there is a huge list of misinformation doctors, including Simon Gold, Scott Atlas, Joseph McCullough, he shows up in my book, Lee Merritt, Sherry Tenpenny shows up in my book, Stella Emanuel, and there's countless others who have made millions of dollars spreading misinformation. So as of right now, none of these people have, been subject to scrutiny or losing their license. And it's sad because they're just going around making up stuff from one place to another. And I don't want to get too far into everybody's stuff, but, and they're spread out. They're not in just one state, right? They're everywhere. Simon Butter, he shows up in my book. He part of the disinformation crew. Peter McCullough, we dealt with Peter McCullough already. So that's that. So again, spreading false vax information might cost you your medical license. So this came out earlier this month. And it's time that we hold it. People feet to the fire, man. It's time we hold people feet to the fire. So I just wanted to kind of run through that real quick. I didn't want to be too long-winded on that. And now I can get into the shenanigans. What up, Lamar? What's good? I want to show y'all something. All right. All right, so we celebrate Black scientists during Black History Month, yet the community hates science. 125 comments. Kufu put this post up. So let me just, because he sent this to me earlier today. A lot of people aren't saying that they love science. They are, And then you have this dude right here. How did you feel about Christina Parks? I want y'all to look at this. All right, he says, was talking about her yesterday. She the one who advocated for hydroxychloroquine during COVID, right? During COVID, right? And so he puts up the video that we did yesterday. Then this brother says, yes, I heard her mention treatments. Does that make her not viable? Somehow you want me to believe that you have a PhD debunked in the very science that you promote? I'm confused, more or less, bro. I was just asking if you heard about her more recent statements about vaccine hesitancy. Let me get this right. A PhD in molecular biology is someone speaking pseudoscience? Is this because she doesn't reinforce your position or because she's wrong? Insight, please. What else, Cedric? He responds, watch the video I posted up top. Now notice there's no big gap in between his time periods, and we know he didn't watch this video. He responds immediately. You can't be serious, bro. That video was pure comedy. Good laugh. He didn't debunk Dr. Parks with Google searches. How do you think Dr. Parks gets the science? She has an account where she can go read. She goes online, Google online, and sign in to get the journal. All I basically did was go to Google to pull up the same journal and article that she could have read and got the science. It was that simple. Similar to what he did right here by trying to post this. This is where the economy comes in. You can't be serious, bro. That video is pure comedy. Good laugh. He didn't debunk Dr. Parks with Google searches. Bro, she is a PhD in molecular biology. That has to count for something. All right. Let's just do wiki. Molecular biology is the branch of biology that concerns the molecular basis of biological activity in and between cells. Her expertise, like I said in the video, should be around the cells, including molecular synthesis, modification mechanisms, and interactions. The central dogma of molecular biology describes the process in which DNA is transcribed into RNA, which is then translated into protein. All right. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit. Molecular biology is the study of molecular underpinning of biological phenomena, focuses on molecular synthesis, modification mechanisms, and interactions. Techniques of molecular biology: molecular cloning, polymerase chain reaction, gel electrophoresis, molecule blotting and probing, southern blotting, northern blotting, western blotting, eastern blotting, microarrays. We don't know exactly what her expertise is in outside of a general of molecular biology. So we're just going to limit her to cells, understanding and the studying of cells. In her assessment, she didn't talk about the cells. She didn't make any scientific information. She hasn't written anything or published anything regarding the cells. She hasn't. Now, let's go a little bit further and let's say, let's go here and let's do this. Major molecular biology. Are you ready? Here's what it's got going on. School talks about all these little things, right? Typical major courses. You got to take all of these different courses. Now tell me when you see virology, immunology, or epidemiology in the typical major courses. You're going to focus on certain. She could be doing this. She could be doing plant molecular biology. We don't know. We don't know. But this brother seems to think that because she has a degree or a PhD in molecular biology, that makes her an authority. So let's continue. Don't know why he posted this. It had nothing to do with anything, but he posted it. Go on to say, you watched the whole video in 5 minutes? He says, yes, and it seems more of an emotional attack than a scientifically debate. He sounded like he was protecting his ego and subscribers rather than trying to get closer to the truth. This is what the brother says. So don't know how you get that out of 5 minutes. Shows a lack of patience in examining information. He says, you seem to have your mind up as well. All right, okay. I guess it's mind made up. I thought you could at least hear the sister out. That's what he said. But you could tell immediately that he didn't watch the video, because the first thing that we did in the video was we did what? We listened to the sister twice. Then we went on her page to understand who the sister was, which was something that he did not do. Now, they continue their back and forth. I'm not trying to draw people out. I see Sutek finally woke up, so I'm gonna see if he about this action with this video or if he busy. So I said, how was the video opinion based? Really don't matter what I say. He says all I did yesterday was give my opinion. I thought by giving you sources, the scientific articles, and the actual information that would get you in the right direction to show you where the sister was not right at and where she stands corrected at based on the science was the right thing to do. But unfortunately, to this brother, I didn't do that. I gave you my opinion. So if anyone feels like I gave you my opinion, I apologize to you for doing that. However, I did give you the sources. All right. So moving on. Mark, give me a shout out right here. He says, thank you for bringing science to the community. Was able to pass the tools on to my daughter, who has watched all the shows and reads the books. This is big, right? Because guess what she's going to Duke to be? A biologist. His daughter's going to Duke University to be a biologist. That eradicates anything that this dude has to say. So, all right. Now, I think I say one more thing to him after this. I said, Buddy gave his opinion. He's entitled to it. He didn't bring you one thing I claimed at all. Science doesn't work in his favor in that moment, and knowing how to cross-reference research and fact-check data is important. The science she mentioned, she's an expert in reading, proves her wrong. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. And then the brother was like saying something. Then he says, he offers me a question. Show me one scientific paper showing the isolation of a virus. And then he doubles down and says, any virus. Okay. So, Exhibit A. There are numerous examples of scientists isolating SARS-CoV-2, the virus that causes COVID-19, and sequencing its genome. The argument about the purification relates to the 19th century microbiological theory that does not apply to viruses. The novel coronavirus has been proven to exist and has caused millions of deaths worldwide. Exhibit A, 6 sources. He asked me to show him a scientific journal. So here's 6 sources. Now I'm going to back that up. Electron microscope provides a great image of the virus that causes COVID-19. This is, ladies and gentlemen, an image from the electron microscope of SARS-CoV-2. This is a black and white image from the electron microscope of SARS-CoV-2. They have isolated it and put it under a microscope. Here's the journals. Isolation and full-length genome characterization of SARS-CoV-2 from COVID-19 case in northern Italy. So I go specifically to northern Italy, but it doesn't stop. Watch this, y'all. Isolation of SARS-CoV-2 related to coronavirus from Malayan pangolins. Oh, so now I got SARS-CoV-2 in a Malayan pangolin, and I got a case in northern Italy. Those are not near each other. They are very far apart. Let me continue. By the way, that's 8 sources. Isolation of rapid sharing of COVID-19 novel virus. I forget where this one is from. Let me see. I got to tell y'all what place this from. Australia. So now I have Italy, Malaysian, and I got Australia. So those are 3 different places. Oh, I got Brazil. 4 different places. So I went around the world and showed where people have isolated SARS-CoV-2. Now he said any virus, but I stayed on SARS-CoV-2. Okay. So I got Brazil, Australia, Malaya and Italy. Okay. Now I could continue because I can go to South Africa. I can go to North Africa where it was first registered. North America. I can go other places. I didn't even go to China. All right. Then I posted up another source. So now we have a total of 11 sources. Right. So now I give them 11 sources. 2 of the 11 sources are fact checking sources. And then watch what this brother says. I run a construction company and have 4 children. I will rebuttal when I have a moment. You know me, men have priorities and responsibilities. Says I can dig it. I said, Kufu, he can't have a rebuttal to 11 sources and an electron microscope. He has to concede if he doesn't address the sources, all 11, and change his position again. He should now admit he doesn't know. He held a belief. Now he's ready to know. Then I put, don't use the kid. This doesn't matter. You can't use the kids as an excuse because he's been arguing with Kufu all day. The problem here is that I provided him 4 different countries, 4 different places, 4 different isolation methods. I've never really talked about the isolation of SARS-CoV-2 on any Science with Sean shows. I didn't really feel a need to actually have to do that because I just assumed that y'all knew what this was. So this scanning, all right, you see it here. Here it is. They're not playing no game, man. They got a whole album of this. Naird's Rocky Mountain Laboratories in Hamilton, Montana produces images of novel coronavirus SARS-CoV-2, previously known as COVID-19, on a scanning transmission electron microscope on Tuesday, February 11, 2020. All right. So that put dude in dead water, and I know it's overkill because I gave him 11 sources, but in all reality, he needed 11 sources. But why am I showing this? It's because of what we just talked about. What we should talk about. Emergency medicine docs will face consequences for spreading COVID lies. See, she's not into medicine, but she is a doctor and she's spreading COVID lies. See, this is what people don't know. She is not a medical doctor. How could you? This ain't her. See, this is a whole different person. She's not a medical doctor. She can be reprimanded. She's not a medical doctor. She can say whatever she wants to say. She's not a medical doctor. She's not. So at the end of the day, she can say whatever she wants. Brother can believe whatever he wants. And he's correct. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna keep this brief. I'm gonna leave it at that. Give us about 5 or 10 minutes or less than that, and we're going to return back live. And we're going to get into the spill. We got a nice show coming up. Nah, she didn't make no oath. She didn't make one. Vaccines won't work. Let me look this guy up. Dr. Jabala. Hakeem Jabala. All right. Hakeem Jabala says a U.S. virologist breaks down COVID-19 and how to curb the spread. Lessons learned from Dr. Jabala about the COVID-19 called SARS-CoV-2 virus can be summed up in several notes. Check out the video with Dr. Kabbalah. Hold on. Trying to see if we can get this guy right here. He has several years of industrial experience in early drug discovery gained over years in pharma and biotech companies. He has extensive experience in the areas of fluorescence technology, assay development, automation, and robotics. He has been involved in developing and screening several targets in various therapeutic areas, including antibacterial, antivirals, antifungal, diabetes, CNS, cardiovascular oncology, and inflammation. He is currently director of a high throughput drug screening core facility in New York. He obtained his BS in some place in Birmingham and biochemistry university in England. He's not a virologist, but it says he's a U.S. virologist in the thing. The thing says he's a U.S. virologist. So let's see. This is probably going to take us somewhere. So he's not. See. So we just read what he is, and this is sad because it doesn't say that he's a virologist. COVID-19 explained U.S. virologist. So now I have more questions because in the video he's claiming to be a virologist, right? But when we just read his information, we didn't get that. So let's check LinkedIn, right? Does this even look like him? Nope, I ain't gonna put that on him. biotechnology, biochemistry, and molecular genetics. Specialties. Speaks about okay, this matches everything that we read on the other side, except for this is some other stuff. But this doesn't tell me that he's a virologist. The word virologist doesn't come up in here at all. Oh, here it is. All right, so here let me go back. So under his leadership, the lab developed, validated, and screened several targets in oncology, virology, and infectious diseases, resulting in several hits progressing through development with MSK 777. But that doesn't make him anybody. For nearly 12 years, Dr. Jabala was affiliated with the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center in New York. MSKCC is a cancer treatment and research institution founded in 1884. MSKCC has long been a leader in cancer surgery, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and the world's oldest, largest private institution devoted to cancer prevention, treatment, research, and education. He has a show, and it says here is a virologist who specializes in infectious diseases. Okay. Oh, look, when you try to be specific about him, you don't really get any information. So we're gonna go back here in 2010. We'll go here. Dr. Hakeem Habala is a new chief executive of Institute Pasteur Korea. This dude is not a virologist, epidemiologist, or immunologist, but we're supposed to watch a video of him talking about COVID. So
brush your teeth in less than 10 seconds with this
So, Dr. Jabala, thank you for joining us again. So, were there any significant new discoveries on the origin of the virus so that we could get a better understanding of it and find a way to kill it?
Not yet. We are still waiting for China to open up its information door and allow us at least to have an answer on this patient zero. I think that remains really critical. What we have learned, at least guessing from its genomic makeup, is this virus can stay around for a long period of time undetected if it wished to do that. So it has adapted some mechanisms of not being able to be detected. And that's the part that's concerning many of us, is whether this virus has figured out where to hide in the human body. And if it does that, all the tests we have available today are not going to detect this virus.
We are seeing a rise in numbers of recovered patients of COVID-19 getting confirmed again with the virus. So do you think this is reinfection or relapse? What is the difference between these two?
It's a very good question, because in South Korea, as an example, I think the South Korean government did something very good. When people are deemed or declared free of virus, they're out of the hospital, but they are in self-quarantine. So they're not mixing with other people. It's only when they come back for their follow-up, which is one of the best strategy I've seen. Some people, their immune system will work very hard, and will make antibodies against this difficult virus, and they will clear it. And because now their immune system has learned what a virus looks like and how to attack it, I think it will be hard for the virus to infect those people again. Unfortunately for others, their immune system only worked halfway and did only one job.
This dude, I need to find out who this dude is. I mean, he can say whatever he want to say. I don't have no problem with that. I haven't heard him making claims yet. In the first 2 minutes of the video, that would substitute scrutiny, but that, I mean, I never heard of this guy. So I'm trying to find out here where I actually can search virologist. There's a site where you can go and pull this information up. I'm not thinking right now. But I'm not going to draw this out because we're going to come back and do this show. And I'd rather deal with that than chase down this guy for what, which may end up being a waste of time. I mean, there's something that he does do that helps him be able to bring out information, and that might be a thing, but just saying that he's a virologist, I'm not going to go there because this is the first time that many people even had a conversation about him, and you can only find him in dark horse places. So, you know, usually when you're speaking of virologists, you're gonna see some of his work. So let's do this. I mean, just look him up and just see it. Let's see what kind of I ain't gonna throw him in the trash. He just hasn't did anything since 2020. I ain't gonna throw him in the trash, but I don't like where he's not showing up. Like when you usually watch this, I'm gonna show you what I mean. Watch this. When you listen, when I pull up Vincent Rack in yellow, Department of Microbiology, right? But he'll say microbiology and immunology, right? When I pull him up, I get a wiki page, I get his Twitter, I get his Columbia where he works. This is where he works, right? I get a full breakdown of who this guy is. Okay? Look at that. Selected publications. I get that, right? If I pull up Dr. Griffin, Daniel Griffin, it's the same thing. Look, Vincent's books. I get that. And yes, I do have the books. You get the YouTube videos. You get look, keynote speaker at Vanderbilt University. Now let's go put that guy back in. All right, we get this. All right, looks a little different, right? Looks a little different than what we did when we looked at Vince. But he has something here for EDU. So, like I said, he has something. Director of Center for Molecular Discovery, Cancer Center, Cancer Therapeutics. And then it goes on and says all of this. This doesn't say anything about virology in this, but something else does. So this is a headache. But I've been on 50 minutes for this. Yeah, we finna set up and we finna rock out. So give us like give us less than 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Sutek and I'll be back with a good show. This gonna be Sutek led. I'm gonna just be bagging it up. But on that note, we're gonna end this one. Sorry to waste a lot of time on the Hakeem guy. Somebody just sent me that, so we appreciate it. But get ready to come back and tune in to the next episode.